Okay, the next article I'd like to talk about is going to be by Terrance Odean, which is entitled "Are Investors Reluctant to Realize Their Losses?" This was published in the Journal of Finance in October of 1998. The first thing I'd like to discuss is going to be Odean's major findings. But actually, before we do that, I just want to look at the question: Are investors reluctant to realize their losses? There are several behavioral finance terminology practices in play here, like the prospect theory, the disposition effect, which we'll see here in a minute, is going to be an extension of prospect theory. And I would even argue anchoring, which is another extension of the prospect theory. So major findings are going to be that to test the disposition effect of holding losers too long and selling winners too soon, the author obtained trading records from 1987 to 1993 for 10,000 accounts from a discount brokerage house. After analyzing them, the author found that investors realize their gains more readily than their losses. So they're realizing gains a lot quicker than they are their losses. It also indicated that many investors engage in tax-motivated selling, especially at the end of the year, particularly in December. Investors may believe either rationally or irrationally that their current losers will, in the future, outperform their current winners. That's very possible. It could be that investors today think that, well, this stock that I've got right here, it's not doing great today, but let's say I own another stock Y, that's doing great today. I think stock X is going to outperform this somewhere down the line. That's going to be, or it may even be that they're thinking that, well, I bought stock X at this price. I'm waiting on it to get back up to this price, and it may never get there. That's going to be an example of anchoring. The disposition effect is an extension of Kahneman's and Tversky's prospect theory to investments. Under this theory, when people are faced with choices involving simple 2 or 3 outcome lotteries, people behave as if maximizing an S-shaped value function. So let's actually look at this. Let's look at this curve. What does this look like? We're going to call this prospect theory value function. It's going to look something like this. We have losses, gains, and value or utility. And the S-shaped curve is going to look something like this. I'm going to start in the middle just so I don't get it all messed up. It's going to look something like that. Well, not just like that. Something like that. We're going to have our value being measured significantly at a significantly higher or lower rate for losses than we will gains. But that's essentially what that's going to look like. We're going to value we're going to have a much harder feeling about our losers than we are about the winners that we're going to have in our portfolio. So investors may be choosing to hold their losers and sell their winners because they believe today's losers could soon outperform today's winners. While the disposition effect is indeed in effect, the extent to which this behavior affects market prices depends on the trading activity of other market participants, such as professional and institutional investors. So now I'd like to talk about why I feel this article should be included in this topic area, because it's dealing directly with behavioral finance. So in this area of behavioral finance, we talked about the disposition effect, which is going to be an extension of the prospect theory. And I've also mentioned anchoring, which is another extension of prospect theory. But what I want to make sure that we understand is that with this idea of behavioral finance being incorporated into our curriculum, I think that it is important that we understand that investors are going to be reluctant to realize their losses solely because we are holding on to what we believe could outperform our winners of today. We believe it's going to outperform that later on in our time. So That's why I believe that we're going to need to go ahead and include this in our curriculum, because I believe that it is important that we understand how prospect theory works in turn, and the disposition effect as an extension of that. Thank you very much for your time.